Energy is one of those costs that quietly climbs in the background while you are busy running everything else. The freezers hum around the clock. The kitchen runs hot all day. The shop floor stays bright from open to close, and at the end of the month, the utility bill lands and you wince. The Energy Efficiency Grant, or EEG, exists to help certain Singapore businesses do something about that by supporting the switch to more energy efficient equipment. In the next few minutes, we will unpack what the EEG is, which sectors it is aimed at, the equipment it can help you buy, how the two support tiers work, who qualifies, and how to check and apply, all in plain English. One important note before we begin: this channel is educational only. We are not a government agency. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by Enterprise Singapore, the National Environment Agency, or Go Business, and nothing here is official advice. The rules, the figures, the equipment lists, and the support levels for the EEG are set by the authorities and change over time, and some schemes close. So treat everything here as background and always confirm the current details on the official sources, gobusiness.gov.sg and enterprisesg.gov.sg, before you act. What the EEG is. Let us define it plainly. The Energy Efficiency Grant, usually shortened to EEG, is a support scheme that helps eligible Singapore businesses invest in more energy efficient equipment. The idea is simple. Newer, more efficient equipment tends to use less energy to do the same job, which can lower running costs over time and reduce the carbon footprint of the business. Because that kind of equipment often costs more upfront than a basic replacement, some owners never make the switch, and the grant is designed to lower that barrier by co-funding a share of the cost. Think of it less as free money and more as a nudge that makes the smarter, greener choice easier to afford. It is not a cash handout, and it is not meant to cover every gadget in the building. It is focused on specific equipment types in specific sectors, chosen because they tend to be big, steady energy users where an efficient upgrade makes a real difference. The EEG helps you pay for efficient equipment you were probably going to need anyway. The EEG is not a general-purpose grant open to every industry. It has historically been aimed at a set of sectors where energy-heavy equipment is central to daily operations. Broadly, that has meant businesses in food services, in other words, the food and beverage world of restaurants, cafes, and caterers, businesses in food manufacturing, and businesses in retail. Think of the walk-in freezers behind a restaurant, the ovens and cooking lines in a food factory, or the lighting, air conditioning, and refrigeration that keep a shop comfortable and its stock fresh. These are places where equipment runs long hours and energy is a serious line item, so an efficient upgrade can genuinely move the needle. The exact list of eligible sectors and the precise way each is defined is set officially and can be adjusted over time. So do not assume your business is in or out based on a video. If you operate anywhere near food and beverage, food production, or retail, it is well worth checking the official pages to see where the current boundaries sit and whether your activity qualifies today, what it helps you buy. So what kind of equipment does the EEG actually help with? Rather than letting you claim for anything, the scheme has centered on a set of pre-approved energy-efficient equipment categories, the sort of big steady energy users you find across these sectors. That has typically included efficient refrigeration such as chillers and freezers, air conditioning systems, LED lighting, water heating, and certain cooking and kitchen equipment, along with other categories on the official list. The important word is efficient. The grant is not there to help you buy just any freezer. It supports models that meet defined efficiency standards because the whole point is to cut the energy used, not simply to replace old with new. Each category tends to come with its own criteria for what qualifies, and that list is maintained officially and updated as technology and standards move on. So when you are planning a purchase, check whether the equipment you need is on the current list and what efficiency level it has to meet, rather than buying first and hoping it counts. The two support tiers. Here is a feature of the EEG that trips people up. The support has generally come in two tiers. The first is a base tier, built around that pre-approved equipment list. If you are buying a qualifying efficient piece of equipment from a recognized category, this tier is the straightforward route, with a defined level of support on the qualifying cost. The second is an advanced tier, aimed at larger or more involved projects. the kind where a business is making a bigger investment in efficiency rather than swapping a single appliance. That tier has typically asked for more, such as an energy assessment or a fuller proposal, and in return it can offer a higher level of support for those bigger commitments. A simple way to hold it in your head. The base tier is buy an approved efficient item. The advanced tier is undertake a larger efficiency project. Which one fits depends on what you are trying to do, and the exact conditions, support levels, and requirements for each tier are set officially, so confirm them before you plan around either. How the funding works. Now the part everyone wants to understand, how the money actually works. Like most of these schemes, the EEG does not pay for your whole purchase, and it is not a cash gift that lands in your account. Instead, it co-funds a portion of the qualifying cost of eligible equipment, meaning it covers a share while your business pays the rest. What counts as qualifying cost is defined officially, and it centers on the eligible equipment itself, rather than every associated expense. The share that is co-funded is set by the authorities. It differs between the base and advanced tiers, and it has been adjusted over time. So I am deliberately not going to put a number on it here. What matters is the principle. You are getting help with the cost of a smarter, more efficient purchase, but you still carry a real part of the bill yourself. Because support levels and caps do change and can differ by tier and by equipment, always check the current figures on the official source before you build them into a budget. The furthermans, who broadly qualifies, so who is the EEG broadly for? In general terms, it is aimed at business entities that are registered and operating in Singapore that sit within the eligible sectors we talked about and that are buying qualifying, efficient equipment for use in their Singapore operations. The spirit of it is to support genuine local businesses making a real efficiency upgrade, not to subsidize purchases that were never going to reduce energy use. Beyond those broad ideas, there are specific conditions. The exact definitions of who counts as eligible and any requirements tied to each tier are all set officially and can be updated, so I am not going to quote fixed criteria here. If you take one thing from this section, let it be this. The shape of eligibility is about being a real Singapore-based business in a supported sector making a bona fide efficient purchase, and the precise qualifying rules are something you confirm on gobusiness.gov.sg and enterprisesg.gov.sg, not something you assume from a video. A typical example. Let us make this concrete with a made-up illustration, because categories and tiers can feel slippery. Imagine a busy neighborhood restaurant whose walk-in freezer and air conditioning are more than a decade old. They still work, but they guzzle electricity and the compressor is starting to struggle. Under the EEG, the owner might look at the pre-approved list, choose an efficient replacement freezer and a more efficient air conditioning system that meet the required standards, and use the base tier to co-fund part of that upgrade. Now imagine a food manufacturer planning something bigger, say re-equipping a whole production area with efficient chillers and lighting as part of a wider efficiency drive. That is the kind of larger project the advanced tier is built for, likely involving an energy assessment and a fuller proposal. Notice the pattern. In both cases, the business was going to spend on equipment anyway, and the grant simply tilts the decision towards the efficient option and shares the cost. Common mistakes. A handful of mistakes trip businesses up again and again, so let us name them. The first is buying the equipment first and checking eligibility later, when timing and process matter, and jumping the gun can cost you the support entirely. The second is assuming any new equipment counts, when the grant is about meeting defined efficiency standards, not simply replacing something old. The third is confusing the two tiers and expecting the simplicity of the base tier while attempting a project that really sits under the advanced tier with its extra requirements. The fourth is overlooking the sector boundaries and assuming a business qualifies when its activity sits outside the supported sectors. And the fifth, the one this whole channel keeps repeating, is relying on second-hand figures, lists, and rules from articles or old videos instead of the official source. Every one of these is avoidable with a little preparation and a habit of checking the authoritative channels first. How to check and apply. So how do you actually move forward? Start on the official government channels rather than a supplier flyer or an old blog post. because that is the only place the current sectors, equipment lists, tiers, and support levels live. In practice, grants like the EEG are handled through the official business grants portal on Go Business, where you log in with your business credentials, while the supporting information sits on the Enterprise Singapore site. A sensible sequence looks like this. First, confirm your business is in an eligible sector. Second, check the current pre-approved equipment list and find the item or project you actually need. Third, decide whether you are on the base tier or the advanced tier and read what that tier requires. Fourth, prepare your quotes and any assessment or documents, then apply through the official platform and follow the process as published. I want to be clear about one thing. We cannot apply on your behalf, we cannot approve or secure a grant for anyone, and no one can guarantee an outcome. What you can do is prepare well and apply through the proper official route, which is entirely in your hands. Quick recap and reminder. Let us pull it together. The Energy Efficiency Grant, EEG, helps eligible Singapore businesses co-fund the switch to more energy-efficient equipment. It has been aimed at sectors where energy-heavy equipment is central to the work, broadly food services, food manufacturing, and retail. It centers on pre-approved efficient equipment categories such as refrigeration, air conditioning, lighting, water heating, and certain kitchen equipment, and it has generally come in two tiers, a base tier for approved items and an advanced tier for larger efficiency projects. It co-funds a portion of qualifying cost rather than paying the whole bill. It is not a cash handout, and it runs through the official business grants portal. And because the sector's equipment lists, tiers, support levels, and deadlines are all set officially and change over time, with some schemes closing, the live details always come from gobusiness.gov.sg and enterprisesg.gov.sg, never from memory. Nothing here is a promise that you qualify or that any purchase will be supported. So take a clear upgrade in mind, read the official EEG pages, and prepare from there. If this made the EEG clearer, subscribe for more plain English Singapore grant explainers, and we will keep turning these schemes into plain English one grant at a time so you can stop leaving funding on the table.